Welcome to In the Know with Steph and Joe. In the Know with Steph and Joe is all about small business development. These two entrepreneurs bring real life experience, laughter, and, well, just a ton of knowledge on how to build your small business and make it thrive. After all, it is your creation. Now, learn how to make it sing. Of course, In the Know with Steph and Joe, brought to you through the financial supports of our good friends over at Steph's Bookkeeping. Check them out at www.stephsbooks.com. And if you look right down there on the bottom of the screen, you're going to see Restoration One, Fire, Mold, Water, Home Restoration. Give them a call at 847-348-9209. I don't know. That's what was on the... What? That's what's on your website. Why? It's wrong? Oh, well, that's... 4664. There you go. I don't know. It's just right. It's right there. That's why. That's what I went with.
Well, that's because so what it does is that gives us a feed into a different
Oh,
Look, now you just messed up all of their
right.
SEO.
I
So confused
See,
now.
that's
What?
it.
Yeah.
That's he doesn't even know. Like
Well,
that's all SEO driven
Look it.
data.
right.
You broke
All right. So
Joe's brain.
what is it now?
847.
847.
I just what?
Yeah. What?
264
264.
4664.
What?
There you go.
Oh my god, that was amazing. He couldn't even
Wait,
form like a complete sentence.
Jim. Let's talk about what the topic is today. Clearly, we need to go over this because it's what happens when things go wrong.
Right. That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
Oh my!
Shit happens, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Are we giving a shout out to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jess.
See, I threw that all off, but of course, our good friends over at Epic Media Inc. When you are truly authentic, there are no competitors. With the continued growth of technology these days, it's essential that you have an effective internet marketing strategy in place for your business. Whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating social media accounts into your business marketing program, Epic Media is the company you want to rely on for your business. Check them out at www.epicmediainc.com.
See, you should have listened to last week's because my read for her was so much better.
I imagine.
You know, I off scripted because we didn't have the thing up in front of us, and so I just off scripted it, and it went something like, if you have a big business, small business, red business, blue business, one
You ripped
business,
off the
two
Dr.
business.
Seuss.
It was
We're
so
gonna get
perfect.
sued.
It was so perfect. It was absolutely awesome.
So I can't sit on this side, and next show where I'm going to sit there.
Do you
Because I
wanna
just
switch?
realized, no,
What?
we're fine for right now, but
Are
I
you
just
sure?
realized on camera and on the Facebook, if I dangle my foot, you could see that I'm dangling my foot.
Oh, so you can see your
It's
short.
like a short people struggle thing, yeah. I
Well,
tested it out just
do you
now.
want to just switch right now?
No, it's fine. I'm just going to
They're bar stools. You're
I'm
not.
gonna
I
move.
dangle my feet on these.
So,
Oh no, I touched the ground. Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry, never mind. I
Now
touched the
we
ground.
can't- now
I
we
can
can't-
touch the
now we
ground.
can't see your feet.
it's like a short people thing. I can't help but dangle my feet when I'm on a chair that I can't touch the ground on. Watch watch your kids when they get in the seat and
Oh, you just start swinging
can't
their
touch
feet?
right.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I don't dangle my feet. I guess my feet normally touch the ground.
Yeah. All right. So, anywho, we're way off the rails. We just 4 minutes into the show.
Yeah, here we are, way off the rail.
Okay. So we're talking about shit happens, how to prepare personally, professionally, operationally, financially.
Prepping. Yeah.
All of that. So what do you guys out there in the world of Facebook and small business, what do you guys do to prep when you have the bad news that comes personally and professionally and financially? Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. I want to make sure I yell it because she hears me better.
All the way down
And
there.
is there a way to prep? I would say like probably 80% of the time you could kind of prep, but I mean, you're also in restoration and you
I
are
was
in a
gonna
business
say,
where people don't prep and shit happens.
I would argue you could prep. Well, okay. Let's get into the very generalized word of prepping. there are preppers that prep for doomsdays, right? The apocalypse, right? Like, they are prepping for everything. And if you really think about it, you really could prep for almost 100% because we really don't know. Maybe there's something that can happen that our minds don't even fathom.
So you
right?
think it's higher than my 80%?
Yes. I think you can do 95 to 98% prepping.
All right, now we're gonna.
Carrie one time bought food for the bird flu. When was the first bird flu that came around?
I think it was right after the flood in Noah's Ark.
I was alive.
Yeah. Oh.
So you must have been Noah.
Should I answer this?
No.
Every show
sure.
he does this.
Every show he calls you?
Yeah. So,
Yeah?
All right. Well,
Hey, we're prepping for the worst thing. We're
all right. First time caller, long time listener, Rich Conley's calling in. We're live on the air, Rich.
Hi, Rich. How's it going?
What's up, bitches?
Yeah, that's how you call into a radio show. What's up, bitches?
So we're doomsday prepping today on the show. How to prep for operational struggles, financial struggles, personal struggles. Do you have any advice? Speaking.
Do you prep for anything, Rich? Are you prepping for the doomsday or apocalypse, or like, are you prepping for, massive chicken takeover?
What the way I prep for it is kind of through a mental exercise.
Really?
Okay. Yes.
How?
Because I've had this conversation with my brother where he said that during a doomsday scenario, he's going to be the guy that's going to be absolutely crazy so nobody will fuck with him. So he wants dead bodies posted on the outside of his house so everybody leaves him alone.
He's
cutting. Take his shit.
He's cutting heads off and putting them on posts.
Right. But I said to him then, I'm like, if you go too crazy, then everybody's going to revolt against you.
Fair. You will have an army show up to your door.
Right. Your neighbors are going to think you're too crazy, and then you have to go. So it's probably a happy balance between everybody knowing that you will kill them, but don't put their bodies on your front yard.
You are on the
Don't
radio.
advertise your killings, but let everybody. How's the engine running there, Rich? Sounds like you're speeding up.
Man, that's what you get for asking me.
Well,
So, what's something operationally you do working in a seasonal business that you guys prep, either operationally or financially working in a seasonal business? What's one piece of advice you'd give to all the listeners out there?
What we do?
Yeah, at
We
your
charge enough to survive over the winter because we don't bill for 5 months.
that would be like a teacher planning out their budget for the entire year, where they may not, or they may stretch their paycheck through the summer, or they may not take a paycheck through the summer. But you have to learn that you have to know that you're gonna have a dead time. So in order to make sure that you can sustain yourself through that dead time.
Yeah, your retail price should account for all of your dead time.
Correct.
And you need to know what your overhead is over those months that you're down.
Right.
So you know how to create that retail price.
Correct. That's smart. How often do you guys reassess that pricing and that structure? Every year? Every time you're going in, every time you come out of the dead season, do you relook at your numbers and go, all right, this is what we need to do for the next dead season?
For the most part, but I think once you kind of get it, it's going to be very little fluctuation off that. Like if it's a true overhead number,
Right.
I mean, unless you buy a bunch of vehicles or take on some loans or whatever it may be,
true.
that number should be pretty static.
That's true.
Yep.
That's awesome, Rich. Are you driving right now?
Yes, sir.
Did you hit the rumble strip a little bit? Because I think we heard it. We picked it up on the mic.
Oh, did you?
Oh no, it was your muffler. Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Get home safely, dude.
All right.
All
Sorry
right.
for interrupting.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
See you, Rich.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you, Pookie.
I always want to do that to him because he always calls at like 3:00 on Friday, like right when we go live. He
Right
always
when he
calls.
gets out of work, right?
Well, because he's on his way to go pick up Eli now from school. Now that Eli's back at school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Listen, the man has a structure. It just happens to happen every Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he calls you at 3:00 every other day, right?
No, because he does. This is the only day he gets out at 3:00 to go pick up Eli. Now that Eli's back at school and we have the show.
That makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Listen, we're gonna be picking up him on the show every day at 3:00.
At least he
Right
had a
in the
good piece
beginning.
of advice, though.
I'm happy he chimed in with some great advice. Yeah. See, that's the one thing is I think a lot of people don't look. They look at their business or their whatever they're doing, and they look at it on a day-to-day, week-to-week maybe basis, or maybe even month-to-month. But a lot of people don't look at as on an annual, a year-to-year basis of what am I going to do for this entire year? How am I going to get through the entire year? Right? Like, what am I going to do for the next year? How am I going to prep for the next year? So that way, there's less of a chance I'm going to run into something bad happening.
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, I don't know if you could relate to this because you're so tall, but for me, I feel like owning a business and having, like, a personal, like, household to run and all these things reminds me of track and field days at school and reminds me of hurdles. Like, I feel like there's always, like, something that goes on. And every so often, if you're not prepared, you're going to hit that hurdle in the wrong spot and you go down with it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean...
No.
Have you ran hurdles?
No, actually, I never did. I never ran hurdles. I never had to run hurdles. But I was short when I was in high school, so if I did run hurdles, actually, I was spry. I would have jumped right over them.
Yeah, you could do it for, like, a little while, but after, like, your third time around the track or something, eventually you're going to clip a hurdle. Like, I don't care how good you think you are and how spry you are. Eventually, you're going to clip that hurdle. And this topic instantly reminded me of that.
Clipping a hurdle.
Yes.
So, in business, though, clipping a hurdle is like something that happens, and we're all going to clip hurdles, right? No matter what in your business, you're going to clip a hurdle, period.
Mm-hmm.
How do you recover from that is, to me, the prep, right? Like, if I'm prepping, you may not, you have less chance of clipping a hurdle, but when you do finally clip a hurdle, how quickly do you recover? Right? Like, can you pop back up and start sprinting again? Or do you clip the hurdle and you're so strong that you clip it, it moves, but your body is still in motion and you don't even waver? Like, that to me is how I would look at prep in the sense of running hurdles.
Yeah.
Or running a track or something like that.
Right, yeah. So the prep and stuff and what we were, right,
Every hurdle's going to be different. Right.
Right. So every hurdle's going to be different. Every, like, how fast you recover is going to be
How do you prep
different.
for each hurdle? Right.
So, I mean, like we were talking in the green room that we were going to break it down between operations, financial, and personal.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of was, so from the operations standpoint, like, as something that we do for prep is we started filling out our CRM and our policies and procedures in a more robust way, because if something happens and I'm not there or one of my team isn't there, then somebody else can just, if the client calls, you just log in, you could see all the notes, take a second to process it, and then just keep it moving. And it's a very, maybe, 30-second lag to getting into the mix of it.
Which then, and that's like you mentioned, like you have the CRM, you get in there, you have protocols set up for each account. So all the accounts basically have the same template. You just need to know what is special about this client.
Well, you need, what
in the template, correct?
Yeah, what
Basically.
Services, which way they like to communicate.
Right. Right.
Like if we have login credentials, if we don't have login credentials,
Right.
and then any of the unique things within their system, how they like things accounted for.
Right. Then from there, if anybody were to pick it up, know your protocol, your standard operating procedure, they could easily pick up the account, look at the CRM, and go, okay, this is what I need to do, and relatively get it done.
Right.
Love that. So in that prep, anybody could fall out of your company for, a bit, say, I got to take a step out, I got to take a leave, and they could walk away. What?
Take a leak.
I said leave, not leak.
Yes, that would be.
But they could. Hey, they could take a leak too, and somebody could jump in and take care of the account. Relatively speaking,
right.
They're not the same person, but what about if somebody were to physically be gone and you were to need to physically be gone and everybody were to physically need to be gone? What if your building what if your building this what if your office were to burn down? Poo is something my wife's family says when you say something that you don't want to happen.
Okay. On a better and more positive thing, me and my team are going in December to do continuing education. So there'll be nobody in the office for 3 days while we're gone doing that.
So it'll be practice.
And so during that time frame, even though we don't have a lot of walk-ins, we've only had maybe like 2 walk-ins since I've had my office because it's not normal, but
your industry you
but
could
so,
do almost all over the computer.
Right. So we're gonna have our out of office emails alerted, just letting people know that it may take a little bit longer for us to respond because we're doing this continuing education, but I'll still have my laptop. So we'll still be able to do something to a certain extent. What does Eric say?
So Eric says, we always recommend to our customers to prep their business for when a threat occurs. Cybercrime is real, and it's not if, but when you're affected by a cyber event.
Yeah, like clicking the link.
or bringing up this stupid comment.
Well, there's insurance literally for cyber attacks, right?
Big deal.
Yeah,
Smart.
I mean, so like I clicked the link, which I did a whole show on it.
The link.
Yes. And so I clicked the link, but thankfully, because we had 2-step authentication on everything, I just got maybe 97 alerts that someone was trying to.
Maybe 97 alerts.
Yeah, it was insane.
Okay.
To access my email and whatever. But on all of our softwares and all of the emails and stuff, it's a 2-step verification process. So if I log into a computer, it sends me a text code.
Right.
To say hey, you're trying to access his email.
Are
or
you okay
or logging into a software or logging into a VPN or whatever. It sends me a thing. So because we prepped for the potential of my stupidity to click the link, we were able to prevent a potential catastrophic disaster.
Now, with regards to that, do you find that you feel because you asked me about, you said 80%. So with regards to cyber, do you feel you are more than 80% protected?
Protected, I would say
Prepped.
Maybe, but the problem is that I was doing too many things at once. And there was so many red flags to that email.
But that's beside the point. Your prepping prevented a major problem.
Right.
You were prepped well. Thank you, Eric. Way to go. Way to protect her.
The protector.
And so because you prepped properly, there's a lot of that we could stumble over in this show.
But can't you prep to paralysis, though? Right?
I mean,
so
yeah.
much prepping because of what's going to happen that you don't get business done.
So I want to circle back to maybe not get business done, but I want to circle back to the bird flu.
Yeah.
I remember it was right around when my wife and I got married, so it must have been 07, 08. It was before 08. It was somewhere in the 05 to 05 to 08 ish, whatever it was. But the bird flu came around and she freaked. And this was the first time that I ever had kind of heard of prepping. In my mind, you know, like the stuff that I collected and had and did and whatever, you know, tools, materials, whatever it may be, they were all like, well, I'm a redneck, I may use that one day, right? But then coming back to it now, my wife says, oh, we got to prep for bird flu, and she goes and buys food, right, and water, in case we're stuck in our apartment for, you know, weeks on end or whatever. To bring this together, what she went and bought was like cereal. The cereal was like bad in like 2 months.
I mean, was it Raisin Bran or Captain Crunch?
It was like cornflakes. It was like cornflakes.
So you donated a bunch to the food pantry?
No, I threw it away. It fucking went bad. I'm sorry, it went bad. I didn't mean to swear. I actually don't mind swearing, but
He fed it to the birds.
it was stale. I didn't even feel good feeding it to the birds. But my point is that you could over prepping, right? Over prepping is like she went out and she bought, and I don't mean to throw her under the bus, but no, like this is like we didn't know what prepping was. Bird flu came around. Everybody's like being warned of bird flu. This is when it first was. Like that we heard of it as kids.
Y2K. There were so many of our friends buying generators and food and water and
exactly
and candles.
Exactly.
Because the world was ending.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We just went through Corona and everybody bought toilet paper.
I still have.
Yeah, that was like the
How
weirdest
much
thing
toilet
ever.
paper do you have left?
We've got
all of it?
5 rolls left.
You
From
haven't
the
bought-
original stash, from the 2020 stash.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, that was when that happened and there was word that we were going to go on the shelter and stay, I didn't go buy toilet paper. I went and bought as much meat as I could fit into my freezer.
Yeah.
She goes, I'll wipe my butt with the wrapper.
But I'm like, I have towels. I have laundry detergent. So
Underwear.
like,
Well, you know what? If the socks are.
but you know what I mean? Like I have other things that could replace the toilet paper.
Dress.
I have a shower. A shower can handle it, like whatever. So like I was like,
Some
I don't
cultures
care.
don't use toilet paper.
But I was like, I don't care. Like that was the last thing I cared about.
That's why they don't eat with their left hand.
But that was like the last thing I
didn't
cared
say
about
that.
was the
I
toilet
didn't say
paper.
that.
That is true.
The only thing that I cared about was food. So I went out and bought as much meat as I could and soap. Soap and meat were the only things that I bought.
I like that idea. So that to me though, in my mind, I look at, you know, like prepping and over prepping as where to me, if you buy something that at some point you may use, or if you do truly expect something to happen and you will need it in that event, right? Like food. I'll use food for an example. Now we could talk ammunition and guns and we need all this stuff, but then you put it in a place down in your basement and whatever, and it gets all wet, and there's steel casings, and now they're all rusted, or it's humid. You know, like you just wasted all this ammo, right? Like so. To me, that's like that would be like the same thing as the food, where my wife goes and buys, you know, boxes of cereal. Perishables, right? She had some non-perishables in there too, but
Like Twinkies?
Never die.
they never die. They never. Big Mac or McDonald's meat patties. Meat patties. But yeah, like buying things or doing things or prepping or preparing for things that go to waste or will be obsolete or will be, you know, will expire
Right.
before the chance of you even coming close to using it.
So speaking of things that could potentially expire, like you deal with a lot more machinery and equipment and vehicles and stuff like that than I do. I mean, we really only have computers and a paper shredder. So,
Paper shredder's huge.
but so we, you know, so that's really the only things machinery wise in our office that we have to monitor and make sure is in well working condition. So at what point when you see, like, for example, when you talked about your Ford Ranger, right?
Yeah.
Your Ranger that you had.
Yeah.
At what point? Yeah.
Sorry,
Did
that was the name of it. I don't mean to just say that like Tourette's and have. Come on.
Like, at what point do you feel like when you're looking at the piece of equipment that you need to start stacking away maybe like an extra 20 or 30 bucks or a couple $100 to prepare for a car payment or prepare for a new
$20 or $30 for a car payment.
Well, whatever, like a humidifier or something. Like, I don't know how much this stuff costs, but so
right.
But like a few $100, at what point? Or do you just immediately look at this item and assume I'm going to get 3 years out of it or 5 years out of it? I'm just going to start right now and start preparing and have like a savings account and start putting money in? Or do you watch for key indicators as for I'm spending more money in repairs on this than the value of the item itself?
So clearly we're getting into the financial prepping for...
I mean, it's kind of financial / operational, because
Kind
if you
of,
don't
yeah,
have your truck, you can't show up unless you're going to sit in the truck while it's on the tow truck bed and be like, we're here.
I can call the Uber and have him come and put my tools in his trunk.
Okay, this is what we got. You're going to be like Deadpool? That's what we're doing now?
Hey, Uber driver, make sure you got a hitch. Well, I got a trailer we're hooking up. So in the beginning, and I think we went over this on our some of our financial episodes, was we talked about like how Carrie and I tried to get a line of credit in the beginning. Didn't really work, but we always strive to have a nest egg, business nest egg, right? You try to have a personal nest egg, replicate that into your business, and have a business nest egg. What'd you call it? An envelope?
Like, there's in the book Profit First, it's basically the envelope system from when we were kids converted into like adult life and being a business owner.
Saving for a bike, you put that money in the bike envelope.
Right.
Saving for a baseball mitt, you put that in the baseball mitt envelope.
You basically take your paycheck and you divide it into like 5.
Oh my God.
You take your paycheck or your business
Yeah.
income and you divide it into like 5 things. You have your operating.
Right.
So you have your income account where everything goes into. Then it gets separated out into operations like taxes, profit, or like your distribution, like your money as the owner, and then you have like the vault, which is your savings, like oh shit money kind of thing.
Totally. Okay. So I shouldn't say that I've never heard of this, because when we were talking in the green room, 40,
This is the first time today? Is it,
45 minutes ago, I heard about it.
You learn something new every day.
The envelopes. I just never heard of it referred to as envelopes. Do you feel like I missed something?
Out on Beaver Island.
Do you,
Right?
Listen, I did not grow up on Beaver Island. And on Beaver Island, we didn't have to worry about it. We just all put it into the bank. And then you just walk I just walked in the store and took what I wanted and told people, and they put it on my tab.
Yeah, and you should be a good prepper. I mean, beavers, that's why they make jams and things. They prep well.
They prep well. They're very well prepped because they actually prepare their food. It's all stored for the winter. So let's digress a bit here. Let's get back on track.
I love these rabbit holes. Okay.
So in the beginning with our equipment and our everything like that, we tried to immediately store some money aside. Now, when we were very, very new, you can't just throw that much money aside. So it's like, what is $20, right? But $20 here and there adds up. Mm-hmm. What we really did to continue growth was every time we would get a large job that we would get paid on, well, we knew that a certain portion of that job was profit. Well, if we could take that, and we knew we'd factor in our pay and all that, we could take that money in and go and buy a new piece of equipment right away. So we were just we more looked at it from the prepping standpoint of not saving to buy that piece of equipment, but proactively buying that equipment when we had the chance.
Okay.
Different mindset, I guess, in that I'm not looking to buy it when I need it. I'm looking to buy it before I need it, and
So, like,
when I know I can afford it.
right. So, like, let's say a piece of machinery is going to last 5 years.
7 is what our
Okay.
our
So
equipment
7
in
years.
our industry should
So,
last. Yes.
at what point during that 7-year period of time do you feel would be the best time to start prepping in anticipation to buy the next piece of equipment if you're financially able to do that? Like halfway or
Well, it
less
it
than
depen-
halfway?
It depends on the piece of equipment.
Yeah, but even if it's like a vehicle, like if you think a vehicle's going to last you 7 years, at what point do you think you should kind of start paying yourself the car payment?
The 7 years I mentioned was not for vehicles. It was
So
for,
vehicles are like 5 years.
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so-
yeah, but anything. Like,
Right,
do you think
right,
a
right.
halfway point is kind of the good tipping point, or do you think at some point?
It's really hard to tell for me, actually, because for Carrie and I and our company, we're expanding. So we're literally buying a vehicle because we need to.
'Cause you're growing.
Because we have 6 and we need 7.
Right.
Not because one's falling off, but we've had some fall off.
Right.
And we're still buying to replace, but at that point we're able to, I guess, sell that one and pick up payments for the, and just kind of exchange payments. So it's not like we're paying substantially more.
Yeah. I mean,
when
like,
we
because,
lose a
like,
vehicle.
I'm anticipating the computers I have in my office to last 3 to 5 years. Is roughly what I'm anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
So at a point, so for me, I'm thinking about 50%. So after having the computer for 1.5 to 2 years or so, I'm going to start stashing a little bit of extra money away in anticipation of one of them breaking and me having to then replace it.
But you have Eric.
Oh, we have a question.
You have Eric, so I doubt that you're going to have to replace any computers. He's just going to freaking make magic happen and right?
It magic.
Goodness.
IT. Hey, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our good friends over at epicmediainc.com. Whether you need a custom website designed or help integrating social media accounts to your business marketing program, Epic Media is the company you want to rely on for your business. www.epicmediainc.com. And of course, our good friends over at Steph's Bookkeeping Services, www.stephsbooks.com. And our good friends over at Restoration One, Fire, Mold, Water, Home Restoration. Call 847-264-4664. Yes, that is the correct. And it's scrolling right at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, look at I think that's the nicest thing that Eric has ever said since I've known him. That I was spot on in the 3 to 5 years of replacing the computer. Look at that.
Nice job.
It's the nicest thing
Yeah.
Eric's ever said to me. I'm going to frame this now. It'll be on my wall.
Take a snapshot, Ken, of that, a screenshot of that.
That's forever out on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, good. Phew.
All right. So I appreciate all the financial preparedness. But, Joe, you talk a lot about the and it spits out the widget. Now,
Love the widget.
The people who are in charge of the so there's people. How do you prep for people issues?
Well, so we were actually talking about this in the green room, and I totally failed.
Oh.
So
Tell us you'll fail, please.
So this past year, we started offering tax services. So we had hired an employee that had previously done taxes.
Yes, I remember.
And so she, so she was going to help do the taxes. I also registered as a tax preparer, and we were going to do the taxes. Well, I didn't have the time and capabilities to do all of it by myself, and I needed that, that secondary person. And then some things transpired, and they took a leave of absence during tax season. So we had to basically shut down that revenue stream during that time because I was not prepared if I lost somebody.
I love how you glazed right over. We took we had some stuff went down, and she took a leave of absence over tax season.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know companies, right, who have only one person who can do one thing.
Right.
Now
That's a dangerous game.
This could be a company. This could be a company. The one I'm thinking of has 80 employees, but one person can only do one thing. And if that person goes down, who's They
Right.
haven't prepped for, hey, what happens?
Right. That's a dangerous game.
And that's one of the things we were talking about at the beginning of the show is how you have taken your employees recently and created that said system.
Right.
Where-
So we've switched it up. So now everybody is kind of cross-trained or in the process of being cross-trained on not only the clients, but also the services that we offer. Because not every client takes on all of the services that we offer. So I handle some things, Melanie handles some things, Valerie handles some things, and it all is dependent on what that client is looking for us to do based upon our skill set. It's like the same thing when I went and first got into the swimming pool industry. When I first did my first scheduling for opening season, my boss at the time gave me a list. You have your tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 for your openings and the difficulties of the job. And these people can do tier 1 or tier 2. These can do only tier 1, and then these guys can do your tier 3s. So
Period. Yeah.
So you need to be careful on what you're scheduling on who, because you can't burn somebody out if they go down.
Which is a lot of prepping.
Yeah.
That's a lot of prepping, right? And but to me that let's circle back to how much do you think you can prep for? I think you really can prep for over 95%. To me, the only thing that I cannot prep for would be something I cannot think of.
I think for me, I will never put myself in a position again to where I'm reliant on an employee's experience and knowledge versus my own.
Which is prep.
So for that, I probably would, every other aspect of bookkeeping, I'm 100% comfortable with. I could jump in. I could lose any employee at any time, and the client will never be impacted.
Right.
With it being my first year as doing taxes, while I understand the general knowledge of it, I'm not as up to date and versed in tax law. But so thankfully, I have a really good support system of CPAs.
Right.
Even in their busiest time of the year, we're still willing to take my calls so I can facilitate the work that we had already had scheduled.
Taken on. Which let me circle back and say it again. That's prep.
Yeah, I guess I had my plan B.
You had a plan. You had a fallout plan. You didn't know you had a fallout plan, probably, but you did have a fallout plan because you've prepped yourself to have enough of a support system to know that if the shit truly hits the fan, you can call on some people and go, "I need help. Can you please help?" And they're gonna go, "Yep, we can do that." Right? That's a support system. That's a plan. That's prep.
I mean, it's impressive for CPAs to take your phone call during tax season. so clearly they must have a soft spot in their heart for me.
You have done a lot of greasing the wheel and prepping that wheel, right?
Like most of us were just scared of you. So.
But with regards to the machine moving the widget, right? Like, yeah, I make sure that we have the mindset that everybody can do a job. Right? You have different levels of people that can do certain jobs, right? Yeah, you have your tier 1, 2, 3 clients. Well, we had our tier 1, 2, 3 jobs, right? Tier 1 jobs, only certain people can do it. Every job needed a lead, and every job needed a tech or a laborer to go and do the work and lift the heavy weight or whatever, right? So for us, it was more about making sure that the people on the job were qualified enough to
look at you redeeming yourself, Eric. I knew you couldn't let that last.
There's the normal Eric.
You must be this tall to ride.
To ride the ride. But yeah, I would say that, like, for me, for us, it's more about making sure that everybody knows, setting the protocol, setting your standard operating procedure, and then making sure that everybody's on board and to what you need to do and how it needs to get done. Then it's just a matter of making sure people are learning and growing, and the more people that learn and grow, the more people you have to do that task.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think as an owner, you should know how to do every aspect of your business. Not that you're going to do it on a day-to-day basis, but you should know how to do it if you
Not
needed
that
to
you-
jump in.
Right. You may not be. Well, let me. All right. So
You're not going to be the
with
boots on the ground, but you need to know how to do it.
With regards to let's say a drywaller, because I love using this as an example. Let's say there's a drywaller owner, right, who owns a great big drywalling company. He used to drywall in his 20s, but now he's in his 50s and he hasn't drywalled in 20 years. Well, now they say he knows exactly how to do it, but is he going to get those nice smooth lines that the guys that do it every day? No, he hasn't had the practice. He hasn't done it over and over, right? So yes, I agree with you. They need to know how to do it so they can explain it, they can whatever, but it's not a necessary that they're going to be the best at it.
Right, but
To me, they need to be the best at running a company.
For me, I'll never have a situation, and I will use the word never because I feel so passionately about it, is that I will never have the inmates running the asylum. Like, you will never, as an employee, have the upper hand on me as it pertains to either a client or the workflow.
You know your business.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I've seen too many
yes.
people over the years, not clients, but just working for people that are so reliant on their general that they couldn't fulfill those shoes after a point in time.
So that would be to say, so let me put it in not from drywalling perspective, but bookkeeping. So it would be to say that, let's say you have a certain app, not QuickBooks, whatever app it may be that you use, or let's boil it down even more simple. Let's say there's a calculator,
Okay.
right? And she can punch whoever your employee is. I didn't mean to say she, they, him, whoever, can punch numbers into a calculator, just like that one. Yep, a Steph's Books calculator, right? They can punch numbers into a calculator 2 times faster than you can.
Okay.
You know how to punch in the numbers the exact same,
Right.
but they just do it better.
Faster.
Faster.
There's a difference between better and faster.
Same accuracy, all things the same. They're
Okay.
just 2 times faster, right?
Okay.
So what I'm saying though is that they're doing it for their repetition on a daily basis for the last year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it may be, has made them better at that function than you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm
Right?
going to follow you, but then I'm
Yes.
going to totally
I know.
punch
you're
holes
gonna-
in your Swiss cheese, but let's go.
Just punch holes in your cheese.
Yeah, right? You're going to make me, so you're like, come on. I'm lost on that one. Anyway. But the point would be that you know how to do said task or said process or whatever it may be, but because you're not doing it on
The
a
efficiency
daily
rate is-
on a daily basis, your efficiency rate is not nearly as good. I didn't mean to say they're better, but
Right.
but they're more efficient. They're better at it than you because they're doing it every day, all day, daily, right? Like,
So let me use a different one. here.
okay, and we're gonna keep throwing them at her. I got a hammer
Which is,
one.
We just had 5 trees taken down in our yard on Wednesday. Great job by Ravens Landscaping. Love Justin and the team over there.
Awesome.
I borrowed your chainsaw to take down.
What's
8
funny
trees.
is my chainsaw's been around this entire group right
That's
here.
right.
Mm-hmm.
It has.
So I used that to take down a tree.
Correct.
It took me all day to take down a little tree. It took them 6 hours to take down 5 big ones, right? So I know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I did it.
Right.
They were just, because they do it every day, they had the system down and they were able to do it more efficiently.
Now call out the
Right.
owner of that company.
Yeah.
He could probably stumble around and get those trees down as well, but he's not going to be nearly as fast as the other guys that are doing it on a daily basis.
If he's not, Justin was right there with his guys. Much like you both are in.
But
front.
what I'm saying though is if you call some owner that's been
Correct.
out of the game and hasn't been doing it for a little bit, even a year puts you out enough that like your efficiency is not going to. That's to me where you also, if you have people and you create the
right,
standard operating
a lot of
procedures.
CEOs of banks came up being commercial lenders.
Right.
Now they do CEO type things. That putting together a loan is a little bit more cumbersome. Not that they can't; it's just more cumbersome.
Right.
Exactly. That's been the thing for me is I've walked onto some estimates here or there, and it's been a while since I've like been on an estimate and whatnot.
Maybe you can work the calculator better because of your tiny child-sized fingers.
It could be true. But I mean, so like basically, I mean,
Small
for
buttons,
us in our industry and how it works, like for example, Melanie and I actually did a client meeting with a client that she's basically done 99% of the work. Outside of me doing the sales call and initial analysis, I really have not actually been in the thick of it. She's been in the trenches. She's been doing it.
Totally.
We needed to do the next level up and do a financial review with the client and give them pointers on things that they're doing good, things that they're doing bad, expansion, not expansion, et cetera, et cetera. So we did a whole thing.
Right.
So it took me a minute or two that I needed to take time to prep for the phone call beforehand because I don't know all of the little things. And during the phone call, when the client was bringing up certain vendor names or situations, Melanie was on it. Like she knew exactly. She pointed to me where to click because we were doing a Zoom and sharing screen because they're out of state. And so we did the whole thing. And so I would have had to fumble around a little bit to find where he was talking about with some of these things, but she was able to point it out immediately because she does the day-to-day on the job.
Love it.
So because we have the prep, but because we have the information in our CRM, it will take me a minute to get acclimated, but the day-to-day in our stuff, like it's difficult to use bookkeeping as an example because there's nothing in the bookkeeping industry that will go outdated, like tax law. I won't get bad, like, shoulders or knees from working in carpentry. I won't have that owner problem that some people in the trades will have at a point.
No, but you could hire enough employees to where you get large enough to where you are not in the account on the account.
And that is my biggest fear.
Yeah,
really?
Yes, because Kent knows how hard it was for me just to release the whole thing to Valerie and Melanie.
I remember you talking about.
Right.
No, I was around for that.
So
too,
no, I mean, but Kent's been around it since I basically moved into this building and started all this stuff, and that was a huge fear and thing. And then that is a big fear of mine to get big enough to where I don't have my hand in every single cookie jar at some point.
Franchisees out there, you have to.
Like at some point, if we do have satellite offices and I do start having other offices, like that's a real fear that somebody else is going to go out and do the sales calls and stuff in that territory.
What's a bigger fear? Having somebody out there representing you and not knowing what could go on, or you being the sole representer, no employees, and you going down and therefore not being able to do any work?
You're going down.
I mean, I feel like that question is such a double-edged sword. I mean, you can't answer it.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not that I'm afraid of somebody else representing the brand, because I've said to Melanie and Valerie, Melanie and Valerie, as they, grow and develop with the company, that they can, start going to mixers or, scrambles and doing all these things. They went and did a golf outing with, I was there, but, they'll start doing these things and they're, representing our brand. But I guess my fear is that if I put the wrong person in place and they go and I need to remove them from the company, then how do I get caught up on everything that they were handling? So if I get big enough to a point, like I always have to be the backup.
So right now, you were to lose an employee. Mm-hmm. I didn't say who. I'm just saying lose one. Mm-hmm. Could you absorb the work?
Yes.
So if you were to hire another person and then take on some more work, and then you were to lose one person, could you absorb the work?
If I lost one person?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always load my work in a way that if one of them or anybody went down,
you're prepping.
If anybody in the staff went down, I would be able to cover.
Right, you're prepping.
So, yeah, the way that I have it set up for our growth plan is that once we get to a certain point, I'm putting this many hours in bookkeeping work versus sales work, then it's time to hire, and then they take that, and then I keep pushing sales. And then, so I'll always be able to fill the role of at least one person. If I lost two people, it would be
tougher,
a bit difficult, but I think it would still be manageable to a point.
To your point, when you have your branch, your satellite, and you have somebody out there, and they leave, you don't think you could absorb that work?
It depends on who the person is that leaves. Like, ultimately, my goal is to have a general that will be my eyes and ears in a territory, meaning it could be multiple states. And that person will handle the people within those buildings. And then, so it depends. If my general went down, that would be a lot more difficult than an entry-level employee to go down.
Totally. But still, though, you might have enough capacity at that point. If you have a general for an area, you should have the capacity to send somebody else out there.
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, like, I have to either. So here's my fear: is that I'm
really worried. I'm wondering what your fear is.
So either I have to find generals that are of similar personality as me. So this way, if one of them went down and I stepped in, the clientele that they've built in that region are not going to notice the difference because we handle it the same way. Or I hire somebody that's a bit more, nice cop versus bad cop, and then I run into a problem, and then there's a retention issue. I am always the bad cop. I'm just way too direct of a person to
ever be anything but the bad.
Right. So, like, that's my fear, is that if I hired somebody that was nice and bubbly and sugar-coated stuff, like stuff that I don't know how to do as a person, and I can't learn how to do because it comes off very sarcastic when I try and sugarcoat things. It's
so funny.
It's very uncomfortable.
But now, let's move over to the trades. You get a call, Joe, because somebody's house basement's full with poop water.
Right.
And they've been on vacation, so it's been sitting there for a little while. They come home and their basement's full of poop water. And the call goes out, and your guy's like, I can't make it. All right, so you call your backup, and they're like, yeah, I can't make it either. Right? I mean, that can happen, right? Well, I've got monkeypox and the bird flu or something.
And the bird flu.
Yeah, so they it's not that they're lazy. They just really can't because, let's say, health issues.
Right.
How do you prep for that? Now you're like, whoop, I gotta get my poop boots on because I gotta go.
I mean, whether it is me or whoever.
Yeah.
We have now. So as we grew, we kept pulling in. We got more employees, and as you get more employees, you have more options. So yeah, we have our on-call schedule. If somebody cannot make it, that's on them to let us know that they can't make their on-call schedule. So if we get a call and they're like, I can't do it, well, that could be their job, right? Like, so there's a set standard.
Your prepping is fire their ass.
My prepping is you better show up because this is the standard that is set for being on call, right?
Sure.
Now,
I mean, it happens.
Now we have backup on call. So, and each on call is 2 people. So a team 1 on call shift is 2 people. Yeah. The backup on call is 2 people. So we kind of have that, like, we've done as much prepping as we could do for the 95 to 98% of things that are going to happen, right? Like, there's only like very rare occasions where we're going to get so many calls that the two teams that are on call can't handle it. And
But what if something does? So all of a sudden, yeah, I was on standby, but I'm out at Six Flags having a great time with my family right now.
And if that's something that happens, we would start calling other employees that are not on the on-call and saying, hey, can you make it? Is this something you could do? Right?
But at the end of the day, though, like,
jump
if
in.
you were going down the line, you are going to be the guy.
Oh, yeah. End of the line, yeah. Somebody has to step up, right? That's it. You step up. No matter what. Obviously, we have our set protocol for walking through our employees and getting things through. But if they don't show up, Carrie's put boots on before when we've been totally swamped.
Way to go, Carrie.
Yeah.
Get them poop boots up.
Hey, Christine's put boots on before. Yeah. So
what, Mary's next? She's got to
I
get.
don't Mary
Mary
could do
got
that.
put boots on.
She's got to get initiated.
I don't know Mary could do that. Initiated.
It's like, what is that, like Hell Week or something, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
She
yeah,
better.
we could do that. Put her in a Tyvek suit and make her do like a poop angel or something.
Oh, yuck.
Kent is about ready to just go home and take a shower because he's such a germaphobe.
Yeah. Which is funny because, all right, so let's actually make the announcement because we're coming up to the end of the show. You are going to be, we're going to be gone next week. Well, yeah.
So next week we have a rerun because it's a holiday weekend, so we want
that
everybody
doesn't
to
mean
enjoy.
Don't tune in.
Tune in, but enjoy.
Yeah, please tune in.
Enjoy
Yeah.
the long weekend.
Yeah, enjoy the long weekend, holiday weekend, and then the following week.
Ladies and gentlemen, they have prepped for this occasion.
Oh
We have.
yes,
See
we
this?
have.
See
We let
this?
everybody know in advance,
Lot
so
of
everybody can do everything they
lot of
need.
Preparation H. And then Kent will be gone the following week.
So
on
I'll
a
be
man
producing
tri-
again.
on a man trip. Man camp trip.
We know
which
how
is-
enjoyable it is when I produce, so I will be producing.
Which is funny because you're a germaphobe and you're gonna go out and stay in the woods
I love the woods. Yeah.
and be dirty in the woods.
Yeah, but I'm not around your germs.
Just nature's germs.
Ah,
It's very
nature's
different.
germs. You'll be around
I'll
other
barefoot
men's germs.
it up. I'll have trees.
He'll go in the nature, but not in a
You
plane.
ever see naked in a frame?
I live that.
Yeah.
And then, so what's on the, what is that, the 9th? So what is that show? I forget
Ninth
the name
is
of
going
it.
to be with Carolyn Greenleaf. She and us, we're going to talk about transitioning from actually it's kind of a good point. Transitioning from go as a business owner to a slower lifestyle, right? As a business owner, when you start your business, you're a hustle, do everything, wear every hat, go everywhere. And then you start to hire people and it's like, okay, how do you turn it off? Because I've heard of some business owners that they don't know how to turn it off, so then they become a nuisance to their employees. Right? You wind up micromanaging your employees because you only know, I got to go find the problem.
Right.
Well, what if there aren't really problems in your business and you're doing your employees are doing great? So that's where I think that conversation is going to be a great one where we can talk
And then,
about how to pull out of being a business owner.
Yeah, go.
The go. Yeah.
so on the 16th, then, we're going to do a fun and different show that we've never done, ever, never.
Ever, never.
And we're inviting all small business owners and or individuals that have an event up and coming that want to promote their event live on air.
Yeah.
We do already have some guests lined up. We have a pet rescue lined up that's having an event November 3rd at Top Golf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're-
so we
we're
will
gonna
have
set up a
people, and
Hey,
we
get
are
get
in
your sanitizer out because you're going to be shaking a
inviting
lot of hands.
any and all small business owners or managers or anybody that have events coming up that would like to promote it live on air. We are encouraging
Everybody
you to come.
needs to come in, and we'll I don't know. Can we?
So chambers,
we'll make sure we announce it
networkers,
again
everybody.
On the 9th.
Yeah.
On the 9th we'll announce it, and then I'm sure we could probably put something up for our next week's show during the rerun.
Yep.
To make sure we announce it, but yeah, that'll be a fun show. Really talking,
That'd be
you
cool.
know,
That'd be
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how many people
Events.
come and want to promote their event. It's free advertising for
It is.
everybody
Yeah.
out there. So if
Yeah.
you want to come and promote something, a new revenue stream, an event, a new
It absolutely costs you nothing
Something.
to come in and do that, but it will cost you money to get out. So.
yes, yes. And Kent will also
For,
put
for us
the
to take the boot off your car.
Kent will also put the link up for anybody that can't
Yeah.
that is not in the McHenry area but does want to promote something. Since we are worldwide,
Yeah.
you are more than welcome to do that as well, and you can tune in through the link.
Yep, we'll just share it.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, is that it? Are
I
we
think
done?
so.
Is that,
Yeah.
I mean, is that it?
Yeah. So I guess thanks everybody. Have a good weekend.
What a great
Enjoy
great
the
show.
Labor Day, and we will see you on the 9th.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. Can't wait.